All right, we are recording. So, my name is Madeline Cork, and this interview is part of a presentation for Blog Jam Atlantic, all about mindset and marketing for blog success. So, today I'm interviewing April Lewis, who is a friend and colleague of mine who blogs over at aprildlewis.com. And she writes things all about affiliate marketing and online business strategy and development for online entrepreneurs. So, April, let's just dive right into the questions here. Can you tell me a little bit about your blog? What's it all about? Who are you talking to?
Well, my target market is online service providers. I kind of stumbled into that target market just from setting an example in my circle of influence online. And so they naturally gravitate to me because I was able to accomplish certain things as an online service provider myself. And I've heard that I'm a really good teacher. So it
You
was just,
are.
it was just a natural fit that it just kind of happened on its own. I didn't go looking for it or anything like that. And so that's what my blog is about. I write about topics that help online service providers. And I tend to think of myself as a rebel somewhat. And so I generally will write about stuff on purpose to flip junk on its end and make people go, really? So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. And so how much time are you spending every week working on content for your blog and business? Is it like an hour? Is it like an hour a day or like 2 minutes a day? What kind of time do you put in?
It's so funny you asked me that because this morning I did a day in the life video in my Facebook group. I've been thinking along those lines lately. So, I'm a pretty good writer and I'm a quick writer, especially if I already have like the creative nudge to write something that flows really well. So I can do about 500 words in 30 minutes. Generally speaking, that's about my speed.
Dang.
Depends on what I'm writing about too, though, quite honestly. Like I can't write an email sales sequence or a sales page at that rate. But if we're talking about just like content for a blog post or social media content or something like that, that's about my rate that I can write something at. And um so this morning I was doing some work and I think I hammered out 1,300 words in an hour and a half for a blog post, I think is what it was when I checked it before I quit working on it earlier. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think what a lot of people don't understand is you don't have to have that ability. You don't have to have that creative juice. You don't have to have that flow to be able to create content for yourself. It's more important if you take some time and develop quality content, even if it's fewer pieces, than trying to hammer out thousands and thousands of words. And so I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. So if you look at my blog, like right now, this is the honest truth, I have 14 blog posts, but they all work amazingly well. But I also repurpose content in lots of different ways across different channels and through course content and freebie content. So content has a big span.
Mm-hmm.
How you
So I think that that's a perfect way to lead into my next question, so you said you have 14 posts and they work really well. So my next question is what kind of marketing do you do? Because when you say work really well, I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean exactly? And is that a marketing term that you're referring to?
is all of my blog posts are written from the perspective of these are going to be lead generators for me, and they are. They're all optimized with content upgrades to get people to opt into my list. And so that's how I work it.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 2017, just to give you some numbers, I only spent total $231 on Facebook ads for my business. And that was for a course that I created. It wasn't even for to grow my list or to do anything with my blog post or anything like that. That was just a
Mm-hmm.
window that I did for a course launch. And
So your blog basically is a marketing tool for you. And so you're extremely strategic about how you're writing and how often you're writing and the topics that you're writing about, because they're part of a larger, very strategic picture in terms of lead generation and list building.
yeah, the biggest way that I use them is on social networking as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So, April, would you say that your blog is successful?
Yes.
And how so?
Yeah, because I define success for myself.
Okay, so tell us more about this. What does it look like for you?
Well, for me, I mean, I make 3 times what I ever did in my normal 9 to 5. I mean, I grew up and lived in rural West Tennessee. You know, an average salary for somebody like that, like factories and retail, the most I'd ever made was $23,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
For me, success, it's like make as much as my dad did as a salesman in his company and working, 3 or 4 days a week, about 6 hours a day. Last
Mm-hmm.
year, I got to travel most of the year last year, all over the US. It's being able to get a call from my kid because his car is broke down and he needs like 2,000 grand for a new transmission.
Mm-hmm.
Him doing without his whole life, and me being able to say, here's $2,000 and I still have money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So your in terms of your blog and measuring its success, it's enabling you to bring in leads to your business, which is then making you be able to fulfill all of these dreams that you've had for your life and lifestyle.
yep,
It's pretty
exactly.
cool.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty surreal when I think about it. So excuse the little red eyes because I'm starting.
Yeah, well, it's an emotional subject, isn't it? It totally can be for sure. April, is there someone successful who you follow or look up to in the blogging world? Who do you admire?
So I've always kept my circle pretty tight, and you know this because we're buddies. And so when I first came online, I kind of like imprinted like a duckling to a couple people. You were one of them. My coach Robin is another. And I found you guys pretty early on. And so I didn't have to pay attention to all the latest gurus and everything because I found quality people from the beginning. And but if I had to say that there's a blog that I follow of someone who's it's probably Neil Patel.
Mm-hmm.
And I really get like Gary Vee as far as like motivation and some of the stuff that he says, but those are probably the only two I really pay attention to.
And how do you know that they're successful?
Well, I think the numbers speak for themselves. Like if you read anything on Neil Patel's blog about his stats, and he's really good on the SEO and Google and Facebook ads, and if you read his content, like he gives you all the information that he does to run, you know, 7 to 10 figure businesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he gives it away. Now, granted, he still wants you to say, okay, I give up. Take it and run with it and do it for me kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's all in the numbers. It's all in the data. He's got proof. He's got results. I mean, all you have to do is Google a topic and Neil Patel is always on the front page.
Okay.
You know
So
what I
it's
mean?
like he has content about all the possible questions you could have, in your niche and the things that you're interested in. And he's giving away a lot of content for free.
Yeah.
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 Okay, cool. So here's a really fun question. What phrase drives you absolutely mad when marketers are promoting success?
I mean, that's probably a tough one. Could probably sit and think about that for a while. Sometimes things like that don't come right to the top of my head, but there's a word that I really hate, and I might step on toes with this word:
Do it.
manifest. And it's not necessarily because I disagree with it, but geez, if I hear one more person say that in a landing page or a sales page or a pitch or a philosophy or a mindset, it's everywhere. It doesn't matter what the topic is, everybody's using that word, and I hate it.
So funny. I know. I read that one all the time and I'm like, come on.
That one really, it.
Okay. So, April, I have two questions left. What is one thing that's absolutely 100% not true about success?
You do not have to do what the successful people say you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I define successful people as people on social media with the highlight reels. that are selling the image, usually the first thing I would advise somebody to do is run away from those people, because it's just, yeah,
So
success.
is it like the, you know, it's not true that in order to be successful, you have to have, you know, perfectly poised images and you have to have like an amazing highlight reel on your social media and like show a picture perfect life. You don't have to do that to be successful.
Absolutely none of it. And it's
Yeah.
not true. It's not even a close representation. Like, to me, success is character traits, like showing up every day,
Mhm.
taking action, taking calculated risk, having faith in yourself, putting your money where your mouth is, being consistent. Those things, I think, are what success is about, and only those things.
Amazing. Thank you. So one final question. What do you wish that you knew when you were starting out?
I'm going to be corny here and say at this point I don't have any regrets, because I don't look at failure, I think, like most people do. I feel like failure is failing forward, and I always learn something that gets me further down the road. And I wouldn't be who I am today if I hadn't gone through some stuff, and I'm really happy. So,
Amazing. I love that attitude. It's perfect. No wonder you are where you are.
don't get me wrong, I have bad days. Trust me, I have bad days, but I can't complain. I don't have any complaints. So,
Amazing. Thanks so much, April, for chatting with me today. I know all the attendees at Blog Jam are going to really enjoy your interview.
thank you. Thank you.